All right. People have been attempting to resurrect a past version of you or resurrect and force a false narrative of you. Okay. For some of you, this is something that has been going on since your family dynamic. For others, it's something that's more new to your environment, a friend group, a romantic interest, something like that. However, their attempts have failed, and you have reached a place where you have done that internal work, that what they're trying to force on you is being flipped. It's almost like when people push in like mental health issues, they want you to go mad. If you master that energy, then you have the opposite effect of that. You have the growth aspect of that. It becomes like a superpower, and then it becomes something that nobody else can inflict on you ever again, because you have worked with and mastered that energy. Just like somebody who has mastered their anxiety, mastered their any aspect of mental health, depression, mania, intrusive thoughts, overthinking. When you master those, when you take the time to go within and find the roots of what those things are allowed to grab onto, and you master it, they can no longer use it. It's no longer effective against you, but nobody else in the future can use it against you either. It's no longer an effective means to disrupt your environment. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Stop that at 144. We're gonna make the nosy Rossi's jobs a little bit harder, not give them a full view of the place. Okay, so, oh, by the way, happy Friday the 13th, one of my favorite days. I have been a big horror fan since I was like 7. I think 7 is when I saw my first Nightmare on Elm Street movie in theaters, and I've been hooked ever since. Okay, so anyway, their attempts have been you've mastered the energy that they continue to send to you. Now, if you're like, well, what are they sending, what are they doing, or better, what are you mastering? Okay, so they've been using Mars energy, but the unstable Mars energy, the stalling of action, to cause failure, incompletion, and frustration. This may be a theme through the earlier parts of your life, through the first half of your life, where you struggled to complete things. You felt like a failure. Things just kept on falling through, and you were riddled with frustration because you couldn't get the ball rolling. You couldn't get action to be consistent. But because it's been an energy that you've been bombarded with, instead of projecting that out, instead of blaming someone else, you said, okay, let's figure out why it is affecting inside. And you did the work, which has turned you into a doer, bringing in worldly success, and it's bringing in tangible results. So you've worked with this energy for so long that it's no longer just things within you that you're having results with. It's no longer just the mind space, the emotional space. It's being transformed to a tangible result. You're able to now see this in your environment. You're having success in worldly matters. You're having success in things that you were not able to, confirmation, it says super. Oh, surprise. Another big deal. Surprise. It's an energy that where you're able to see it in your environment. The very worldly matters you're able to tackle and manage with success. All right. They were also using Saturn energy to stall lessons, but focusing on the time and the consequence matter, especially of the Mars. If you put them together, if your Mars energy is off and you're not taking the right action, it's going to affect your Saturn energy, which then will definitely affect finances. And with Saturn, that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to force bad business, irresponsible with money issues, irresponsible across the board, and making moves that lacked integrity because you weren't able to get the ball rolling. You weren't able to get momentum. You were stuck in this incompletion, failure, frustration. They were trying to push you to do things that were against your integrity, that were sleazy, slimy, scammy in order to make ends meet. Congratulations for not going that route, for having trust and faith in yourself, in source, in everything working out. 5:11 on the timer, 5:15 on the timer. Because you've successfully gone internal with those energies, you are now moving into, or have already moved into, success in money. You've cleared those poverty mindsets. You've cleared those irresponsible money moves, irresponsible business moves. You are standing in integrity in across the board, even if that means saying the uncomfortable truth, saying the truth, or setting the boundary that you know is going to end the connection, you know is going to not have you looking favorable in others' eyes. People prefer, especially people that are not standing in integrity themselves, prefer others to do like them. So when somebody is standing in integrity and is saying those hard, uncomfortable truths, they don't like that and they will scapegoat. They will try to outcast. And that's essentially what these people have been doing, collective, is pushing people out. But because of all of the things, the cosmo things transpiring, we are awakening at greater numbers to this type of stuff, to the fact that this is not only not fair to the majority, it's not right, it's not healthy, it's not moving in integrity, it's not honest. Okay? There's the neurotypical, the norm is to do things to appear a certain way. Okay, I'm going to ask you how you're doing, how you've been, how's work, how are the kids, how are your family, how are whatever, but I don't really care from a neurotypical standpoint. I don't really care about the answer to that. I don't really want you to answer anything other than, oh, great, I'm just asking out of nicety because I want to look a certain way. Where neurodivergent is like, oh, well, this has been going on and that's been going on. And the neurotypical people are like, I didn't care. I didn't want to know any of that. So it's like, no more of playing the niceties, no more of putting on the mask and pretending, okay? You don't want to know how somebody's doing? Don't ask them. How about instead of asking a question you don't really want them to answer, how about making a statement, I hope you've been well. We've been doing great over here. Boom, on to next. Keep it pushing. No question, no need to explore, no need to get an answer. If you don't want to know the answer to it, don't ask the question. And that's the awareness that we're moving out of. It's that, no, we're not going to make jokes that pick at people and make fun of people and do, like, tearing somebody down isn't a joke. Tearing somebody down isn't funny. Painting somebody as something they're not and haha, it's not funny. Learn how to tell a real joke. Learn how to be actually funny. We're shifting into that awareness of this neurotypical way of being as being the thing that's the odd thing out, that is not actually what we want as normal anymore, and shifting into a more upfront and honest and genuine place. Okay, they were also using Jupiter energy to cause an expansion within you of powerlessness, helplessness, and overwhelm. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I've been talking about overwhelm, about people that don't want others to succeed and are trying to affect others. 808 may be significant. Don't want others to succeed. They will push in an overwhelm energy, because if they can get somebody overwhelmed, when you get into an overwhelm energy, you are often moving from shadow, and you are often moving in a way that is not really aligned, and you can make bigger mistakes. You can act out of character that way. Okay. But again, because you've worked with Jupiter energy, you've worked with the, unstable energy that they've sent in, you are now stepping into leadership. And for those of you that are, I don't want to lead anybody, doesn't have to be leading anybody. This could be literally leadership within your own life, leading your own life. Instead of sitting in the back seat of your vehicle of life and letting someone else direct you, you are directing your life. You are leading the way. You are in the driver's seat of your life, okay? You are now in a place where you hold influence. What you say matters because people can see that you've put in this work, especially people that are aware of the ones that were doing this to you energetically or otherwise, okay? You are now stepping into or moving into, if you're not already there, into a place of personal power and authority. The flies are about today. Into a place of personal power and authority, but you're standing in a place of, I don't need to have power over you. I don't need to flex authority over you. You do you. I have power over me and authority over me and what I do and how I react and move in accordance with the environment. You're not standing in a place of needing power over others, because people who need power over others, it's because they lack power over internal self, because they're not doing the work. It's easier to try to control others than it is to look at self and control self. All right. So the when I was waiting for my phone to charge, I picked up the enchanted map, I think, deck, and these two cards fell out on the floor, and it's mirrored numbers 1441 reflecting. Okay, so you may be mirroring somebody, but you've done an exceptional job of riding the wave of life, riding the wave of what has been thrown at you, especially since you became aware. All right. You've been riding the wave of unexpected, that says unexpected visitors. You've been riding the wave of the unexpected energies that continued to try to throw curveballs at you, that continued to try to drag you down, pull you down, resurrect old versions, force false narratives. You've done an amazing job at that, okay? Mastery level job at that. So, okay, this, I've been called to this deck an awful lot lately, and I'm not really sure. Gold could be significant, or rose golds, or glitter. This, like rose golds, was just random in a place that I didn't expect to see it. And it caught my attention again right now. All right, Source, what else do you have for this collective? You may want to see where Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter are in your chart. Saturn will give you a good idea of the type of impact that will befall others if they do nastiness to you. So if you've got Saturn in Libra, Saturn in 7th house, you're looking at relationships, okay? So people, it will hit their relationships. It will fling back in their relationships. 2nd house, it'll fling back at their material world, what they value, that type of thing. You may want to look at where Mars and Saturn and Jupiter are in your... Ooh, there's a thing that doesn't belong in here. Are in your chart, because that may give you deeper insight to areas that you can focus on, especially if you resonate with the imbalanced side energy of those 3 planets and you feel like, yeah, those have been a big impact. Whether it's an impact because you needed to learn it due to past life karma, or whether it's an impact because people were just coming at you. Either way, those are lessons learned that are helping your advancement forward. This card doesn't belong in this deck, and it's declutter, and it was in the upright. Let go of old items, create a new sacred space for yourself. So you may need to go through and purge items, especially if you're holding on to items from people that you know do stuff like that. That instead of dealing with their own stuff, they try to destroy others. Getting rid of those items, or if they hold some kind of personal value to you, working with your team and Source and getting them completely cleansed to cut any cord to you will help. Oh yeah. Will help remove that access. People will often give you things or old items that you've had from them. There is a tether, there's an energetic connection, especially if it brings up memory of them when you look at it, when you're using it, okay? We've got justice. So justice is coming in. Justice is being served because you've learned the lessons, all right? And that is your justice. If someone's been affecting your ability to take action, healthy action, your ability to thrive in money matters, your ability to learn lessons and move forward out of karmic cycles, your ability to expand in a healthy way and not expand in hopelessness, fear, overwhelm, loss. If somebody's been trying to affect those areas, your justice in learning those lessons and doing that work on yourself is having that right side up energy come in. Oh, that caught my eye. What is that? Is that a llama? No. Is that a llama? No. What are those birds where they've got the long back legs but no front? I can't think of it, but if you put it in the comments, it's like I see you. I see what you're doing. These people may not be very happy about justice coming in, because if they've been throwing this kind of energy at you over a long period of time, even a short period of time, but a long period of time, that energy doesn't just go away. It goes back. If you learn the lesson that somebody was trying to take from you, if you learn that lesson, then that their energy has no place to go, especially if they continue sending it. They continue sending it, you've learned that lesson, it's just going to go right back. I'm just watching. That's what they may be disgruntled. They may be upset. All right, what else do you have for justice, Source? Those are the salt flats. So their energies have just been completely dried out. Yeah. No. Their reign of terror over you is over. They cannot control you anymore. They don't have the mastery level to control you anymore. Back then, they may have. They may have had more knowledge, more power than you because you weren't sitting in your own power. And they were easily able to control you, control your energy, control, herd you around like freaking cattle. But they can't do that anymore. And Chariot fell out. So justice is coming in, and it's coming in quick. You may also have unexpected visitors show up because they know that justice is coming in, or they've already started to feel it, the impact of it in their life, and they're trying to get back under your protective umbrella. A lot of people think that when they've been doing this to you over long periods of time, and they've been really trying to mess with your life, that if once it starts hitting them back, that if they just come in and apologize to you and get back in your good graces, then it will go away and it will stop. The backlash, the return will stop. And in some capacity, they're right. If you allow them back in and you allow them access to you and your energy again, you will kind of shield them from some of that, but that means that you'll be getting hit with some of that as well. But it won't stop them from receiving. So be careful who you bring back in, especially if you were moved away from them. If Source, your team, moved you away from people and out of situations, be very, very careful going back into those situations. All right. People can change, absolutely, but that doesn't mean that they now gain access to you. 1441 could be significant. You could also be seeing a lot of mirrored numbers. Yeah. You're quickly going into a new start, collective. This, I've been getting a lot, big energy lately of people that have had a less than easy, less than enjoyable beginning section of their life. I don't want to say half, because it may not be half. It may be less or more, but up until the recent days, your life was riddled with cycles, with destruction, with betrayal, with all of the energies that I was talking about, with the reversed energy of Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And you're quickly moving into a new way of existing, moving into a more flow state, a more abundance in the things that you actually want, a place of being able to take action, follow through, and achieve that success that you've been eyeballing, that you've been trying to accomplish for some of you decades. Okay, justice is coming in, and it is coming in quick, and it's bringing a new start with it. All right, so if you haven't seen this new start happen in your life, get ready. And if you're like, I'm keep on seeing and I haven't seen and nothing new and it's all the same old and there's probably a reason why you're seeing messages like this, so that you can start taking action and authority in your life and start learning those internal lessons. Because the collective that this is for, that has called in justice because they've learned the lesson and focused on themselves, and it is coming in quickly with a new beginning, a new way of existing. This collective has put in, I just got chills down my legs. This collective has put in a lot of internal work. They did not sit in a place of, well, I'm like this because my parents did this, and I'm like that because my siblings did this, and I react like this because of that ex, and I have this because of that in-law. Like, this collective didn't sit in that energy. They looked at themselves and said, what did I personally play the role in allowing this stuff to happen? And when it comes to childhood, you don't have control over what you were born into. You don't have control over, some say that you make contracts before you come in. I'm not going to touch that. Okay. But you don't have control over what transpires in childhood. But when you become an adult, it's your responsibility to heal that. It's your responsibility to sort through that so that you don't continue moving from a place of shadow wounding, okay? If you want to move in a shadow wounding place, great. If you want to achieve what I've been talking about in this reading, then you need to look at yourself. You need to look at your behavior and then work backwards. Don't start at childhood and say, oh, well, it was this trauma and it was that trauma, and move from childhood forward. Start from now. Who are you now? How do you show up today? And look at those behaviors, mindsets, reactions that you don't like, because those are all you. I'm sorry, unless you're a minor, those are all you, okay? They may have a root back somewhere else, but that's the way that you are showing up today. So when you start unraveling, unlearning, healing, learning a new way, and you go from today backwards, you can reach the root of what created that, but you're not sitting in a place of, oh, well, I react like this and I've got this shadow aspect because of what my parents did to me in childhood. Because all that's doing is giving your power away to a childhood wound, to parents, to siblings, to an environment, to whatever. There's no change there. There's no growth there. So you are free to do that. You are free to say, well, I'm only like this because of my childhood, and sit in that. You have that right. You have that free will choice. But if you want actual change and you want the trajectory forward to be different, you have to do something different. That doesn't mean you're responsible for what somebody else has done to you at any point in life, but you are responsible for the trauma that you endured through it. You are responsible to heal that. And the way that you make sure that that doesn't happen again is by figuring out what choices you made to land there. Was it boundaries, lack of boundaries? Was it lack of self-worth? Was it lack of self-love? Was it making excuses for people? That's a big one. A lot of people that have self-worth and self-love and boundaries, they will make excuses for people because they can see the best in them. They can see the trauma. They can see the inner child. And that is still a choice that you're making that allows you to be in an environment around someone in a connection that is not healthy. Okay? You're not responsible for what that person does, but you are responsible for allowing it to stay in your life. Okay? And for the other collective that you have this new start already here or coming in, congratulations again. Happy Friday the 13th. If you need personal guidance, clarity, confirmation, source-led knowledge from for your personal journey, you can book a personal with me. Happy healing.